Hey everybody, before we get started here, gotta let you know here, we're coming back from Gen Con, got a little bit of con crud, so Katie's voice isn't 100%. She's a little froggy today,
Just a
but
little bit.
we need to get these videos out. So with that, I'm Greg.
And I'm Katie. Welcome to the Meeple Society. Today, we are continuing our trek through our collection. We are on the first video of the Seas, which is episode 12. So the Seas has a lot in it. So this is going to have a few more games than normal because we want to try to keep it to 7 videos if we can. I don't think we're going to get it to 5 like we have A and B, but I'll be happy if we can keep it to 7. So that being said, before we get started though, like and subscribe, please. Hit the bell icon if you want notification when we put more stuff out.
And follow us on all of our social media.
Yeah.
First off, we got to go backwards to the A's.
Of course we do.
This should have been on the last video of the A's, but we didn't have it then. We picked this up out of a Pegasus Spiel mystery box at Gen Con this year, and that is Axio. Yep. Axio is basically the square version of Ingenious, if you've ever played Ingenious, where you're putting tiles out.
It plays exactly the same. Literally, the only difference is the tiles are square instead of hexagon.
And there's little cones.
And there's the little pyramids that when a square is completely blocked off and there's only one piece left and you can't put a piece in that, you put the square down and you score a point for each color around it on each of the 4 orthogonically connected sides.
But but other than that, that plays identical.
Yep. We have Ingenious actually in both collections. Both copies were found at Goodwill years ago. I think what we're going to end up doing is selling our copy of Ingenious, knowing we're keeping a copy in the other collection where we can always have access to it if we want it. And we're going to replace our copy with this. So we have both copies without being redundant and having 3.
Yep.
So that's Axio.
So now let's dive into our C's.
Oh boy, where do you want to start?
I'm going to start with some smaller games.
Okay.
And as you can see, they're not exactly alphabetical.
No. These are the first
in order of alphabetical order, but I'm not going to pull them off in that line.
That's not how you have them stacked. So that'd be very hard.
Not even close.
Yeah.
I'm going to start with these little games right here.
Okay.
And we're going to compare these first two. It is Canasta and Caliente Canasta. These are identical games.
They play exactly the same. I have never played Canasta until we played these 2 games.
Right.
You played it as a kid.
Yeah, I grew up playing this with my parents. It was like every weekend we'd sit around the table and play Canasta.
Yeah. So we had some definite refreshing or learning to do on this one. The biggest difference on these 2 is the buy-in point. This one indicates it is American Canasta. And the buy-in point for the very first round is 125 points, which I found incredibly hard. This one's only 50. I like the artwork on this one.
This one's basically a deck of cards. 2 decks of cards. Because when you play Canasta, you're playing with 2 different decks of cards.
Yeah, this one is 2 decks of cards, but they are specifically built for Canasta. They've got the point values right on them, which I did like.
Right. When I learned Canasta, we didn't have the point on our cards. We just played with 2 decks of cards.
So I liked that. But this one also has the point values on the card, but it also has neat artwork on the cards too. And instead of, well, I'm not going to dig through to find it, but it also gives you a score sheet, which this other one, we had to dig through the rules to find a score options. So I like this. This one also on the 3s, like the red 3s.
The red 3s were your bonus 100 and all it said was bonus 100. And the black 3s did not have a black 3 on it. It just said stop, which meant you could freeze the pile.
Right. So I like the fact that instead of being the number, it gave you its special power.
Right.
And the wilds were literally marked wilds. They weren't 2s and jokers. They were wilds.
Yeah.
So
because there was 20 point wilds and 50-point wilds. Yep.
So I think between the 2, we're going to keep this one. The rule book is teach. The rule book is a lot easier. The cards are more clearly defined. And this guy's going to go on the sale pile. Simple as that.
Next is a little kid's game that you had the worst trouble getting. This is Captain Scrimshaw's Digging Pirate Treasure puzzle game. This is all about basically flipping over a tile and seeing if it's yours.
The big thing with this one is everybody has a color and you're digging for your color treasure. And if you find somebody else's color, if you find your color, then you put it down on your treasure map and you know where else what you found, and you're building your treasure map as you go.
Yeah, I mean the whole thing starts off a 3x3 grid of stacks of that part of the grids.
Yep.
And everybody has a color piece.
Everybody has a color
section of that.
And then there's 2 pieces of dirt.
There's more than 2 pieces of dirt
per tile, per stack.
Right.
Per stack, there's 2 pieces of nothing but dirt. Guess what I pulled every time I searched a stack? Needless to say, I lost.
So the good thing about this game, when I opened it up, I thought, okay, it's just gonna be cardstock. These are pretty thick.
These are thick.
Like they're thin tiles or thick cards.
Yeah, these are some seriously heavy cardstock. Actually, I thought for a game geared toward 4-year-olds, this is incredibly good components.
Yes, it is.
Could they still bend them up? Yes, of course they could. 4-year-olds are pretty ingenious when it comes to that kind of stuff, but I think this is a really neat introduction.
This is a really good game for the age.
For the age group, it's geared
ages 4 and up. So, but for the group that we're going for in
the interest of paring down our young kids collection to 20 or less. I hate to say it, but I think this one's going to go because I just don't see this one attracting attention, even if we did take it someplace, because it is such a small game. It's such a small footprint. And I think for kids that age, you need the bigger footprint if you're going to attract their attention. And we just don't have, I don't know, I'm torn on this one now, but for now it's going in the sale pile. So yeah, that was a decision we made. So I guess I'll stick with that. So now I'm second guessing myself because it is a great game for kids that age. So, but anyway, that is Captain Scrimshaw's Digging Pirate Treasure.
Say that real fast. Okay, the next game is this is a very frustrating roll and right kind of Yahtzee type of game.
Yes.
Yeah, I like the game, but it's so frustrating. What was our last score? 190 to minus 500,
something like that. It was pretty
500,775 something like that. That is Can't Stop Express. This is the smaller version of Can't Stop, but
right. And I would be really curious to try Can't Stop. Really, after playing this, I like this. This comes with 5 dice, and the main reason I'm opening it, you roll your 5 dice, and the score pad. That's all there is. It's just the score pad and 5 dice.
No pencils.
And no pencils. I'm sure the original probably did, but we bought it used.
Oh, there's a direction, a little book
down there. But you roll the 5 dice. One person rolls them. Everybody runs off the exact same 5 dice. You pair up 2 sets of the dice. So, for instance, if this was my roll, I could pair up and have a 9 and an 8, and then the 1 is my carryover or my 5th die, as we call it. Or I could have a 6 and a 6 and have a 6 left. However, I wanted to combine my 5 dice, but you have 2 sets of 2 dice and then 1 leftover. And your 5th die goes onto this 5th area here. And then anytime you roll one of those 3 numbers, you have to use one of those numbers as your 5th die. Your game ends when you run out of spots to carry that 5th die over. I thought it was just, it's all about manipulating the numbers without re-rolling the dice. So
she didn't cover is the scoring.
Okay, the scoring's pretty horrendous if you're not careful.
In this first column here, 4 boxes, if you have anything marked in that and not into the center column, you're going to lose 200 points. Yep. If you're into the center of that row, okay, you're not going to score any points on that number, but you'll still lose points if you have anything in the other side. So so everything you have in here that's not all the way to 0, you're going to lose 200 points for each number that's not 2 to 0.
Yeah.
Once you're past the 0, then you're going to score for every box past the 0. You're going to score the number of points that's beside the number.
I enjoy the game. I think it's a super easy game to learn. Can definitely be frustrating if you don't combine the numbers the same way, but hey.
I have not
it is
got
what it is.
positive points in this game yet.
I like, we will keep it.
She
because
got
it
190
is-
points last game.
We will hold on to this one because it is
Yes,
a super easy
it'll
game
be
to
held
teach.
on to.
So yeah.
Okay, the next one was a surprising game to
Yeah.
us. This is for ages 4 and up, but this game can, as it says, it grows with you. So
Yes.
it ages depends on the questions you're going to get. And this game is called Camp. This was a Goodwill pickup.
This was a Goodwill pickup. It is a trivia game, and I am not big on trivia games at all. And I seriously thought this one was hitting the Goodwill or hitting the sale pile before we even tried it. And then we tried it, and it was actually really intriguing. You roll the dice, you move around. If you hit a certain color footsteps,
you have to answer a question.
then you have to answer a question. And if you don't, then you end your
There's
turn
a deck of cards that come out, and one card has a 1 and a 2 on their side. The other one has 3 and 4 on the other side. And you take that card, you put it in front of you, and that's the level of questions you're going to take. So if you're playing with like 5-year-olds, they probably have a 1 in front of them. So you're only going to ask them the question that's in the level 1 area.
Yeah,
like,
each card has
we would have like level 4 or 5.
Four levels.
Okay.
But
we were answering third level questions.
We decided to go with third level questions.
Just to fill the game out.
Right. And I was surprised, and most of them we knew. There were a couple that I was like, think about that. But what I really liked on this one, there was a couple spots where if you landed on it, you went back to the cabin and you had to read a fun fact. And I think that was one of my favorite parts of the game was the fun facts.
Because you learned some things.
We only hit it once or twice. But the fun fact that got read was the fact, did you know that poison dart frogs can have enough poison to kill 2,400 people?
Yeah.
I was shocked by that.
Let's get rid of them.
So.
Good thing we don't live in an area that has those.
Right.
And so at least we think.
Details like that I thought were really interesting. And even some of the questions, we read a couple of questions that were like, really? I didn't know that. So it was
pretty. It was educational for us.
Yes, it was
very educational. This is in the travel collection right now. It's going to stay in the travel collection right now. Will it come off the shelf? I'm kind of hoping it will.
I hope so.
I mean, it could be one of those games that when people come in and say, "Hey, what's an easy game to play?" Or maybe trivia or something. We're going to pull this out and take them over and see if they're interested in it. Because this is a game that's worth playing. This will be
one if we get back into doing stuff with the scouts too. This will be a great one for a scouting event, things like that, because it's all about nature. So
we get some grandsons
someday. Okay.
We're not foreshadowing anything.
No. Okay. Anyway, that was camp. We're keeping it.
Next is going to be a little bit of comparison. We have Candyland. Yes, I played Candyland.
I won.
We have a carpet-sized Candyland that goes on the floor, of course.
Yep.
Although we usually put it up on a table by itself to just distract people. These two play the same.
Yeah.
If you've ever played Candyland, I don't think we really needed to describe Candyland to people.
You pull a card, you move that.
It has changed a little bit over the years.
Yeah.
On the way the board is set up and how they play it. And then there was also Candyland, the train game. This is completely different than.
This one plays totally different
than Candyland. Okay.
So these two, I'm pretty sure you know how they play. I would hope. If you've never had children, you pull a card, you move that many colors. Done. And then the first person to the end of the track wins the game. This one here, there is a train, and I gotta show you the train. The train's adorable. The train, and then under the train sits this dice. So you put the die inside the train, and then the train rolls along the track, which I'm not gonna pull the whole board out. But see, there's this track on the board, and you run along the track. There's grooves on the track that make the dice roll, the die roll. And then when you lift the train up, when you get to the spot you want to go to, there's no certain spot. You go wherever you want to go. But you lift the die up, and depending on what color is showing, if it matches this area you're on, then you get to pull that chip. First person with all 4 color chips wins the game.
Yeah, and each area has, each chip is 1 to 4 pieces of candy that's on it.
3 or something like that, yeah.
Which we did not find the reason for that.
That was the advanced mode.
Oh, that was the advanced mode.
That was the advanced mode. So
of course we didn't play the advanced mode.
Yeah. In the basic, it's the first person to get all 4 colors. In the advanced, it's when one person has 4 colors, whoever has the most pieces of candy on their chips wins the game. So you could only have 3, but have all of the 3s. So therefore you win the game versus somebody having 2s. So it was different. The components are good. That being said, again, in the interest of paring down the collection for the little kids down to 20 or 25 games max, I definitely think these are all hitting the sale pile. Heck, if I was going to keep anything so far, it would probably be this, but these are all going because I think they're just a little too small and they don't do anything new. Kids have this at home. I guarantee you almost any 4 or 5-year-old has played this sometime in their life. I want to give them something new, something that will challenge them. And I don't think this is it. All right. That is all of our Candyland games.
Our next game, this game we finished up the gameplays for this video last night at around 2 o'clock in the morning.
I believe we played till that late.
And this was the last one we played on the list. This is The Captain is Dead, Dangerous Planet. If you've ever played The Captain is Dead, you kind of get the gist of this.
Well, go ahead and pull out the other one too, because it's right there.
Oh, yes, I forgot.
Compare them.
Okay.
So
we have the OG of The Captain is Dead. This is before AEG took it over.
Yes.
That's the weird box. It's just weird.
It's the Game Crafter version.
Yeah, this is the original Game Crafter version.
This was really early in our collection.
This was a fluke.
This was a fluke.
We weren't looking for it.
No, we were on Game Crafter and we were
You're buying some components,
replacement components or something, and I wanted free shipping because the shipping was going to cost me as much as the components. So we started looking around and we found this game listed. Needless to say, it gave us free shipping, but it sounds interesting. Why not? It's a cooperative game, plays the exact same mechanism as Pandemic. You do 4 actions and then something bad happens. So
a lot of times really bad happens.
This has turned into by far one of our favorite co-ops.
Yes.
It plays 7 players. We have played this with friends. We have played this by ourselves. We have played this at Gen Con before. Matter of fact, we taught it at Gen Con. Bless the heart of the guy who was supposed to be teaching it. He'd never played it before. He had only read the rule book. So we ended up teaching it to the group at Gen Con. And the first game we lost in the first round.
Yes.
I mean, literally, shields at 0 by the end of the first round.
Second game we still lost.
No, we won.
Did we?
Barely. We won, but barely. So we reset the whole game. We played again. And everybody kind of had an idea at that point how it all ran. So we went at it from a different angle and we won. But it was close.
And I think at least 2 or 3 of them that walked away from that game said they were going to go.
Now, that being said,
we played this version of it.
You go by now. I'm forgetting this is the third edition in the series from AEG. They were going to go buy the first, the other copy of this one.
They were going to buy the AEG version because that was the year AEG
first put it out. Yeah. So this, like I said, by far one of our favorites. It is for sure stayed in our collection. We have both expansions from Game Crafter. Absolutely love this game. Hard as hell to win though. We have a playthrough video of it, which we won by the skin of our teeth.
Yes.
Literally by the skin of our teeth. So very exciting playthrough. This one is totally different. You are now let me back up. The premise on this one is you are on a ship that is being attacked by aliens and your captain is dead and you guys have to survive and get the jump core back online. Simple. Sounds easy. This one, you're on a planet now. Your shuttle has crashed on the planet. You have to get the shuttle running again. But to do so, you have to find these artifacts on the planet. So you have to go through these cave systems to find the artifacts. Unfortunately, there are bugs at the end of the cave systems and they're coming for you because your searching has woken them up. Yeah. So this one is a lot harder to win, in my opinion. We've played it a couple times now. We managed to win it last night by the skin of our teeth.
By 4 cards.
We had 4 cards left.
We were into the red cards and just barely hanging on.
Yeah. So I think all the bugs were on the board at that point.
But our shuttle never took damage.
Nope, shuttle never took damage.
We only lost 1 artifact.
This one is definitely staying. This one we never really talked about. I mean, we like it.
Yeah.
I definitely like it better after last night's play. I wasn't so sure after the first couple plays of it. but after last night's play, I definitely like it.
Yep.
So we'll hold on to it for now. That being said,
anything, and just go over.
Yeah, if anything, it'll go in the other
collection.
room. But I would love to get a copy of the AEG version of this one for the other room, because it is such a great game, but I'm not putting my copy over there. So the big difference between the two versions, if you've ever looked into it, is this version, the playing pieces are pretty generic.
They're solid
these
colored.
kinds of pieces. Whereas this version, the artwork's a little different, but otherwise they play pretty much the same. This version has, do you remember the old Shrinky Dink toys or Shrinky Dink pieces?
Yep, that's what they look.
That's what they look like. So I'm trying to get it so you can actually see it.
Now the
But yeah.
AEG version of this, these are shaped the same except for they're a little bit taller and they're clear.
Yeah. So
But the stand is built into it.
yes.
These, you
Whereas
gotta
these-
put this
Sorry,
stand in them.
these have clear stands that go on them. So obviously the AEG version's been updated a little bit, but otherwise the artwork is very, very similar, thank you. So I really like them. It's a great cooperative game, space themed. So definitely recommend them if you've never tried them. So that is The Captain is Dead.
The Captain's Dead, Dangerous
and
Planet.
Dangerous Planet. So
Next we have is Calico.
the theme in Calico is you're building a quilt. And so everybody has their quilt board. So at each round, you're choosing between two in your hand of tile pieces to put on your board. So you're going to place them on your board, and the board is double layered, so they lock in place, which is nice. But you're going to have 3 scoring options here out of 6. Everybody has 6 to start from. You choose 3 to put on your board that you're going to try and gear toward. And the scoring options are something, they look like this, where, for instance, this one here, you have to have 4 of one color and 2 of another color, and or 4 of one pattern and 2 of a different pattern. So it's all up to you and how you do it. And there are some that you have to have 2, 2, and 2. So 2 sets of 3 different colors, or 2 sets of 3 different patterns. It can be a little confusing when you're trying to think about it. But there are 6 different color tiles, 6 different patterns that you're working with and trying to get onto your board. Super puzzly game, enough to hurt your brain if you're not prepared for it.
Yep.
I really enjoy it. That is Calico. It is definitely staying.
Yep. Next we have Careers. This box lid is on upside down.
That's your fault.
Let's fix that.
Okay.
Okay.
Careers is, well, it's an older game, 1971 published. This is one where you've got all sorts of tracks in the board. It's a roll and move. You've got tracks in the board for different, well, one, you can go to college. If you go to college, it gives you some benefits later on in the game, but you've got different, what is the word I'm looking for?
Going to school a lot to learn different careers.
Yeah, it's different career paths.
You have cards.
Yeah.
Opportunity cards that allow you to go to different places.
Yep.
And not have to pay to get into them.
I thought it was actually a lot of fun.
It is. I really liked it. Not sure about the paper money. We did not play with the paper money.
No, we pulled out some poker chips we had.
But the cool part of the game is at the top of your score sheet, you get to
Yes. You basically set your own goals.
It's fame, money, and happiness.
Yes.
And you put how, okay, I think this game I'm going to score 30 fame. I'm going to have $10,000 and I'm going to get 20 happiness. It's got to equal out 60. To 60.
Yep.
And first person who gets that. So if I have 30 fame, $10,000 and 20 happiness, game over, I win.
Yep.
Katie won.
Little books right there. Yep, it did by 2 turns.
But the cool is you write it in here on the top, and then you got a perforated line. You just bend it over so nobody can see what your goal gaming goal is.
Knows what you're shooting for.
So you're going around, and if you go through an occupation, you learn the occupation, you check mark it. If you go through it 3 times, you can now retire, and there's a certain thing you can do when you retire.
Yeah.
But it's
I
really
love
cool.
the fact you can set your own winning
Yep.
goals. So that's kind of cool. But anyway, I thought it was a lot of fun. We're gonna hold on to it.
Yep. It's over in the
Yeah, this will stay in the travel
collection.
collection. So that is
Okay, the next one, I think we already decided we were letting this one go.
this one's going. Yeah, Cariboo Island, again, geared towards small children.
Yeah, very small children.
Yeah, you put coins into the treasure chest in the middle, and one by one, there's this little key you use to pop open the doors based on you're drawing a card that'll tell you either you want a door with only one item on it, or a door with blue items on it, or a door with triangles on it, or something like that. And then you have to find a door that matches that and pop it open. If there's a coin there, you put the coin in. The person who
puts the
puts
last coin
coin in
will make the chest
treasure
pop
chest
up
pop
and
open.
they win.
Yep. Super simple, but again, geared toward 3-year-olds. Honestly, we had trouble getting the treasure chest to open, so I think I may just throw this one right back to Goodwill. But yeah, that is Cariboo Island.
Next is a Stefan Feld game. This is one of the uglier versions.
It's one of the early editions.
Not beige, it's green.
Yes.
But this is already staying in our collection because it's signed Stefan Feld Carpe Diem.
Yes, we got to meet him at Gen Con the year this came out, and he signed a copy for us, which I thought was pretty cool. But I enjoy the game. It's a definite puzzle. This has already had 3 or 4 editions, and every edition they change the coloring a little bit. So
the latest one was the white version.
Yes.
And it looks a lot better than
it
this.
does, but I don't have a problem with this one. No, I don't have a problem
pretty
with
much
it.
the same, unless you get the version on the board where it has the little cross lines, because that's the big change that they've made in the game, is that those cross lanes are not, you just move one space to the left or one space to the right.
Even so, you still have 2 options available to you.
Yeah, and if you have loaves of bread, you can move anywhere on the board you want.
So I really like this one. Like I said, it plays similar to Carcassonne. Well, it has the same Carcassonne territory type mechanism.
Yes, where you're building buildings. And
you're building buildings. You have to match up your landscape. You can't build a building into the edge of your into the edge of your board. Things like that. So
it's a Feld, so there's plenty of ways to get points, including how you build your buildings, because there's things on the outside that'll give you points if they cross through it.
Yep. So yeah, typical Feld. But yeah, I really like it. It's gonna stay.
It's gonna stay. Not my favorite, but it's a signed copy, so it stays in the collection.
It's a good game. It's still a good game. So Carpe Diem.
Okay, this next one is a very heavy game for as small of a box it is, and that is Cape May. This is a really cool tile. Well, it starts out as a tile laying game. It's everybody has the same cards in their hand, because you get a hand of cards and you play the cards to move or to do different things on the board. You're laying tiles out for buildings, and eventually you can upgrade those buildings into actual miniatures of buildings and upgrade those to other things. And it's kind of an area. It's an area majority area control.
Really, the only benefit to the area majority control is getting points. How many points do you get if you control the area, if you have the most buildings in that area?
Yeah, you're not going into those areas to knock somebody out of it. You're just it's a city building game. So you're building your city and trying to get things, because there's cards in there tells you like that you can score this many points if you have this many buildings on that street and this many buildings on this street.
Right.
So that's really, really cool.
Well, and it has that mechanism where you're playing cards to do your actions, and then you have to do something to pick up all your cards.
Right.
Or at the end of the season.
Yeah, it has that Concordia effect.
But it also has events that come out at the beginning of each season or the beginning of each round that will affect something on the board. Either there's a fire in an area and you can't build there, or something good happens. That happens too. So I really like the complexity of it, and there's just a lot going on, and I really enjoy
and the way the different areas, because you have the gravel, you have the grass, you have the dirt, you have the sand, and each area scores differently depending on what you have in there. So
I really, really enjoy this one, and I love the 3D buildings. They're so good. So anyway, that is Cape May.
these last ones are all grouped together.
Yes, it's all one big
So
set.
it's all one big set, and we'll just kind of tell you the difference about them. The first one is actually one of the older games we've had in our collection, and that's Carcassonne Big Box. I don't know if this is a numbered one or not. This has the mini expansion of the rivers in it.
Yeah.
It gives you two new colors, purple and pink. And this box is designed upside down too.
Yeah. So we have played this game. We have bought so many. Well, okay, let me back up.
Here, I'll open this one up for you.
Get
off.
Yep. When we
this box
first started, yes, this box is very full. When we first started getting into gaming, Carcassonne was one of our early games, and we bought the big box because it had a few expansions already in it. Made perfect sense, right? And we since started collecting all the other expansions. Well, everything that we have that is not a standalone game is in this box now. So all my rules here, score sheet. I have little, yep, I have small containers I found that hold, like, so this is Hills and Sheep. This is part 2 of 2. So this is all the stuff for Hills and Sheep. If we want to play that expansion, it's right there. There's Inns and Cathedrals and Traders and Builders. There's Princess and the Dragon. There's 1 of 2. There's another one in here somewhere. Yeah. So, and we have some of the German edition of,
Halves and what is that?
Halb so Wild German expansion.
The one with the half the tiles.
Yeah. So I've got all the expansions are in here. And just different.
And we played pretty much all the expansions except for the catapult. We bought that as a novelty, basically.
Yeah. And then I have, of course, all the little actual mini expansions just in their boxes. But I've also tricked it out with 11 different colors
and
of Meeples.
These are all first edition. It's not the more cartoony edition.
We have a more current edition in the other collection. It's just the base game. That's it. I don't want to get all this other stuff for that one. It's just the base game. But this is our entire collection of Carcassonne here.
And we even got all the little mini ones that in each mini one, it had a piece of
the river, the second half of the river.
No, it was the, was it crops?
Oh, yes, it was crop circles. You're right.
So each one of these came with one piece of the crop circle. So we went and got them all, and now we have the entire expansion of the crop circles as well. Which is really cool. So we have in here, I don't know if y'all can see it if I tip it up. We have the tower in here, and in the tower is where she stores all of the base game tiles.
Yep. And then, of course, like I said, all my colors, 11 colors of Meeples now. I've just picked up different colors.
And yes, we did do a suicide game of this of 11 people, was it?
We had 11 people one New Year's Eve.
We threw all the expansions in.
All the expansions.
It took a really long time.
It took and the entire table. The entire table was full, but it was fun. But we were done by the time that was over. We've actually played 2 really large games. This will stay.
Yes.
It all stores so nicely. Believe me, it took me forever to get it all stored in here this way, but it does. It works.
So I don't think we really need to explain. I mean, Carcassonne is one of the older games.
If you're new to gaming, Carcassonne is one where you are basically matching terrain tiles. Cities have to match cities, roads have to match roads, fields have to match fields. You lay one of your meeples, if you have any left, on one of the features of the tile you just placed. When that feature is complete, you score it. That's basically the game.
Except for farmers, you score the farmers at the end of the game.
Each expansion adds just a little twist to that, or a different type of meeple to it, something like that. So super easy, light, welcoming game, beginner game, however you want to put it. Boatloads of expansions though. So, but this one is definitely staying. I'm not even gonna put this one on the floor. I'm just gonna kind of like
okay, so the next one is we have Carcassonne, the dice game. You're wondering how you make a tile laying game into a dice game. You have, what is it, 9 dice? You get to roll the 9 dice. If you roll a catapult, that dice is out of your rolls. You don't get to score anything on that dice. And you're trying to build a city with as many of the dice as you can. And it's got to be a closed off city for you to score points. There's also, you got the little meeples, which they call knights. If you get 3 of them, you can decide, okay, I'm just going to take this knight, I'm going to put it over here, pass the rest of the dice to the next person. You don't score anything that round.
The next person only has
8 dice
to work with.
Now, when it comes back around you, you can take that dice, throw it in there. Now, whatever you roll and end up with, you're going to double the score of that. So
the dice are filled with one side's a knight, 4 sides are types of city terrain, and then one side's the catapult.
Yep.
You try to make your city, close off your city. That's as simple as that. And then the number of dice you get into your city determines your score.
First person to 42 wins.
Super simple. We have a copy in both collections, ours and in the other room. It's just a novelty piece that sits on the shelf. I think we decided we're going to keep the one in the other room because it is just a little novelty dice game.
And then sell
our copy. So that is Carcassonne, the dice game.
Okay, so the next of the Carcassonne series here, we have a couple of the Around the World series games, and this one is Carcassonne Amazon. This has a little bit of, well, it has the Amazon rolling down. I was going to say it's kind of like the river in regular Carcassonne, but not really.
No, this one,
because in that one you don't have ships going down the river. This one you have a boat that moves down the river. That's more stuff.
Kind of a race.
Yeah, this is a race with the boat.
You start on the base tile. Your beginning tile is not just a single tile, as in the others, but this is your starting tile, and it varies depending on how many people are in the game. So this is 4 and 5 players. That's 2 and 3 players. So this has more spots on it. Each round, you're placing your tiles. You start around here, but you cannot place any further than this until some of these tiles are drawn and added to it. Then you can do that. But there are tiles amongst these that will show basically the wide river. And then when you pull one of those, you add it to it, and now your basis for how far you can expand the jungle has grown, because now you can go out one more row. But you're adding tributaries, you're adding forests or jungles
or camps.
So tributaries, jungles, or camps, which this tile doesn't have a camp on it. And then scoring just like you would in regular Carcassonne, same concept. In regular Carcassonne, you have a choice of putting out a meeple. In this one, you have a choice of putting out a meeple or moving your boat one spot down the river, down the Nile. The Nile? Amazon. You have a choice. Yes.
Amazons.
You have a choice.
Actually, this kit says Amazonas.
Yeah, Amazonas. So you have a choice of either, again, placing a meeple or moving your boat one spot down the Amazon. And that matters because it's a race to the end, and there's more points to be had if you're in the lead. It gives you some interesting choices of, do you go ahead and claim that village you just started, or do you move your boat? So I like that. But game does not end when the tiles are gone. Game ends when the third one of these is put out, and these are triggered by some of these tiles that have exclamation marks on them. So you don't ever know when it's coming, because it could come fairly quickly. You just don't know. So, but that is Carcassonne Amazonas.
One of the
Round the World series will stay in our collection.
So the other Round of the World series we have is actually South Seas. Now both of these are still pretty available.
Yes, I've seen them in stores recently.
Yes.
This one,
every other version we've played of Carcassonne has a scoreboard. This one does not have a scoreboard because they have these little score tiles that it's basically almost a pickup and delivery game to a point. You're still building the isles out. You're still collecting resources for different things.
Well, instead of collecting points when you finish something, you're collecting resources when you finish
something.
So
if you close off an island, you're going to collect as many bananas on there. If you close off a bridge that's connecting the island, it's seashells. And then if you're in the water and a fishing boat comes in, or that water section closes off, you're going to pick up however many fish are in that area.
Yeah. So, and then you use those resources to
deliver
orders, to boats, and those boats are your points at the end of the game. And this one again ends when all the tiles are gone.
Yep.
This one again a little different. You have a choice of either putting out a meeple or taking back a meeple.
Yes.
So you only have 4 meeples to work with. So if you see one's been trapped, instead of claiming something you just put out, you can now pull one back. So that gives you a little more versatility about leaving those guys stranded somewhere.
You always got to remember you can pull them back. I kept forgetting that last night.
So, but that is Carcassonne South Seas.
These next two are kind of hard to find.
Yes, very much.
We were lucky Katie found these. First one
This
is
at a half price books
this is
years ago.
the castle.
Yeah.
This one Katie doesn't like because she
I like it. I've
she
never
hasn't won
won
it
it.
yet.
I get slaughtered at this game every
Yeah.
time. In every other game, and this is my problem in a lot of Carcassonnes, is I try to build big things. In
Mhm.
this one, you can't do that. You have to close stuff off quickly. And I have a hard time wrapping my head around that. But if you can close things off and continue moving up the score track, you get bonuses as you go.
A lot of them are game endings
And
scoring.
I forget that. And I by the time I remember it, it's too late.
Mhm.
So
The bonuses are little tiles in the towers, and you only get them if you land on them.
right.
If
So
you
somebody
go,
bypasses them,
if say like there's one 3 steps away and you got score 4 points, you don't get that one that's 3 steps
Right.
away.
the big difference in this one is that the back is a set frame.
Mhm.
So you can't build beyond that. And you have to start in, there's like 5 or 6 starting spots around the inside of the frame. And
Yeah.
you have to start in one of those spots. The frame is also your score track where your bonuses are set. So you also don't have to match up terrain types. Terrain types can be mixed. It doesn't matter. They're all squares.
Except for the roads.
Except for the roads. You have to match up your roads.
Yeah,
and
you
that's what
cannot
kept screwing me
you
up last
cannot
time.
put a building up against a road.
Nope.
The road has to
The
continue.
road has to be able to continue. So again, a little variation to it. I really like it. This is a 2-player game only. It only fits 2 people. And for that reason, I do like it. I
She
just can't win it.
Yeah, like you said, in this one, you play it just like other Carcassonnes where she's trying to get the biggest cities so
Yeah.
she can score the big points to move up faster. I score a lot of small stuff as fast as I can to
Yeah.
get those bonuses as I'm going through
Yeah.
and to get farther up, because I know a lot of games I've got to get way out ahead of her early because she's going to catch me at the end, but this one she just can't catch
I
back
can
up.
never, I can't, because nothing scores at the end. So here I've got this big old sprawling house or keep and nothing scores.
Yeah, if it's not done, it didn't score.
So yeah, I can't win this one.
Unless you have a tile that allows you to score something that's not done.
Which I did.
And
for
there's
the
one for the
castles.
roads, one for the castles,
Yeah.
one for the keep.
But good game. Someday I will win it. But that is
Yeah, and this even has something like the farms too, and that has you score
the
however
fields.
many of the tents that are in the areas. So yep.
So anyway,
So that's the capital. This last one, as you said, was not released in the United States.
My understanding, it was never released in the US. It was released in Germany. I looked into it on Amazon and I knew it had been anticipated. I saw it, I grabbed it immediately, and then a week later it was gone, or a couple days later it was gone. So
that is Carcassonne, Star Wars.
Yeah. I have seen this going for sale for $100, things like that, because you just can't find it in the States.
This takes Carcassonne and actually puts some conflict in the game.
It does. We played this with 5 people not long ago, and we had a good time with it, but it actually puts dice rolls into it. But instead of, oh gosh, what is it? Instead of roads, you're doing space lanes. Instead of cities, it's asteroid field.
Yes.
And instead of fields, it's open space. You score each round.
Monasteries are planets.
Monasteries are planets. Yep.
Planets.
So it's a thick rule book.
Each person gets their own little person.
Yes, and that's what I was told.
You got a symbol to represent that, because these symbols are on the tiles too.
Yep, and each of these have little stickers I had to put on them for the people. So you've got, it comes with, oh, there's the beginning title. So you've got Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader and Yoda and Boba Fett, and then just a stormtrooper. So, and each one has a faction type, but there are different faction symbols throughout, and you get bonus points for those too, especially if they match your own. And then if you want to war over a planet, you roll the dice. So very interesting twist on base Carcassonne. Really enjoy it. The fact that it's so impossible to find. And we are Star Wars fans. I like the whole trilogy. Oh, I got it right. So we'll hold on to it.
The trilogy,
The trilogy, okay, the whole, I like the
9
original
movie
trilogy.
series.
Yes, the whole 9 movie series.
You like the middle 3.
I like the middle 3 and I like the last 3.
You didn't like the first 3.
I
You didn't like seeing Anakin become Darth.
I don't know. The first 3 are not my favorite.
I like the first 6. I'm growing on the last 3.
Yes, yeah, I like the last 3.
I
Maybe I'm
just can't get
nostalgic.
over Kylo Ren. He doesn't play evil enough for me.
That's because he wasn't true evil. He was conflicted.
Well, so was Darth Vader too, but
Anyway, regardless. That is Carcassonne Star Wars. We will hold on to this in our collection. So done. That's it.
so that is for the first part of the C's. We have probably 97 more of the C's to go.
We had 123 to start with. So yeah, we probably still have 100 easy.
Well, I was kind of joking about 97 more videos.
Oh, okay. No, not that many more videos. I'm hoping to keep it to 7.
So we probably got
No, we had 143. We had
5 or 6 more
143.
C's. That's a lot of games still too.
But I think C's our biggest letter, though. I honestly think our
you've said
C's are our
that
biggest
many
letter.
times.
Okay.
So until then, we'll see you at the next one.